Hi everyone, it's Maureen Muldoon with A Course in Miracles, the workbook lessons, and we are on lesson 130 with A Course in Miracles. And the idea of this lesson is that it is impossible to see two worlds, which is kind of going off the last two lessons that we had. This world I see holds nothing that I want, and then this one is saying like it's impossible to see two worlds. So we'll go into it and we'll see what it has for us. But in the meantime, or prior to that investigation, why don't you give the video a like, because you know you're gonna like it. And when you're done listening, perhaps you might want to subscribe and share these lessons with your friend. An idea shared is strengthened. It's impossible to see two worlds. Perception is constant. Perception is constant. What you see reflects your thinking, and your thinking but reflects your choice of what you want to see. Your values are determiners of this. For what you value, you must want to see, believing what you see is really there. No one can see a world his mind has not accorded value. No one can fail to look upon what he believes he wants. So it seems kind of crazy to think that we would want disease and separation, destruction, divorce, addiction. It seems a little bit insane that we might want to choose that. But all of those things are just classrooms to support us in navigating a greater awareness of what the broken glitch in our mind. If we can't blame the outpicturing, we have to change the film that's being used. And if the film is the carrier of our beliefs and our assumptions and the things that we value, then we get to change those things. And basically, we're making a simple adjustment from fear to love, from war to peace, from separation to unity. If your world is looking broken and disconnected and painful, then we get to choose. Then we get to choose again. It says, yet who can really hate and love at once? Who can desire what he does not want to have reality? And who can choose to see a world of which he is afraid? Fear must blind, for this its weapon is. That which you fear to see, you cannot see. Love and perception thus go hand in hand, but fear obscures in darkness what is there. It says fear must make blind. A lot of times we hear the saying that love is blind. But really, love is not blind. True love is not blind. True love, that is true love, like not the special love that is segregated for certain people, places, and things, but true love, that is the love of God that shines equally on all things. It does not blind, it illuminates. So fear is the thing that blinds. And so we don't want to be blinded. We want to take off those filters so that we can see love. If we see love, if we be, see, and free love, all of those things sort of work together. When you free love, you can more easily see and be love. When you become more loving, then you can more easily see and free love. When you decide to see love, you can more easily free and be love. So it kind of all works together. Hope that made any sense whatsoever. Number 3, what then can fear project upon the world? What can be seen in darkness that is real? Truth is eclipsed by fear, and what remains is but imagined. Yet what can be real in blind imaginings of panic born? What would you want that this is shown to you? What would you wish to keep in such a dream? So it's basically saying like our fear blocks us from seeing the truth. And we know that that is true. Like anytime that we are in a fractured state of villain, victim, or hero, where we're trying to be someone else's God, or we're trying to save someone else, we're trying to fix someone else, or we're trying to blame someone else, we got ourselves on the Bermuda Triangle. Villain, victim, hero. And we don't want to live on the triangle. We want to live on the circle where all is well. And this is possible for us today if we're willing to see correctly. It says number 4, fear has made everything you think you see, all separation, all distinctions, and the multitude of differences you believe make up the world. They are not there. Love's enemy has made them up. Yet love can have no enemy, and so they have no cause, no being, no consequence. They have been valued but remain unreal. They can be sought, but they cannot be found. Today we will not seek for them, nor waste this day in seeking what cannot be found. So it's basically like, God's light shines through us, and we get kind of twisted, and we end up projecting and tossing shadows instead of allowing that brilliance to shine through us. We get in the way of God's light. We become hung up or strung out on some situation or some form, and we literally get stuck. And so the place that we get stuck, it casts a shadow. And these shadow puppets on the wall, if we believe in this thought that we get stuck on, that something could have gone wrong, then we begin to project that broken idea onto the world. And just like a little crumb on the table, if projected onto the wall, it can seem like it's huge, but it's just the shadow. And so we torment ourselves with these shadow puppets. And we don't want to play that game anymore. There's no reason that you need to torment yourself with the addiction to fear. So the end of this paragraph says, they can be sought, but they cannot be found. Today we will not seek for them, nor waste time this day in seeking what cannot be found. Number 5, it is impossible to see two worlds, which have no overlapping of any kind. Seek for one, the other disappears, but one remains. They are the range of choice beyond which your decisions cannot go. The real and the unreal are all there are to choose between, and nothing more than these. Today we will attempt no compromise where none is possible. The world you see is proof you have already made a choice as all-embracing as its opposite. What we would learn today is more than just the lesson that you cannot see two worlds. It also teaches that the one you see is quite consistent from the point of view from which you see it. It is all a piece because it stems from one emotion and reflects its source in everything you see. So if you're seeing the world through the eyes of fear, you're going to see this color everything. If you're seeing the world through the eyes of love, you're going to see this color everything. And the thing is, you can't have a little fear in your love. It has to be an impeccable. And I know that seems incredible, but if a little willingness is brought to the dedication of this lesson, we will see ourselves, our small selves and our small fears and our small grievances come undone, so that we can have a more full experience of our holiness. You didn't come to these lessons today to just sort of, get mentally stimulated. You came here because you wanted to get undone. You wanted to get unhooked. You wanted to experience a bolder version of yourself. So that's what's happening. And if it feels agitating, the idea that this is an all or nothing thing, which means you have to give up those grievances towards that, that guy or that gal who you feel righteous about holding on the crucifixion and saying, no, he really isn't, asshole. You have to give that up. But a bad day for ego is a good day for spirit. So if sometimes these lessons feel a little agitating, just breathe through it. It's a little labor pain, but something beautiful is being birthed, and that thing that's being birthed, that beautiful thing that's being birthed, is a bolder version of you, my friend. And the world deserves you to be in your most empowered state. Number 7, 6 times today, in thanks and gratitude, we gladly give 5 minutes to the thought that ends all compromise and doubt and go beyond them all as one. We will not make 1,000 meaningless distinctions, nor attempt to bring with us a little part of unreality as we devote our minds to finding only what is real. So it's saying there's going to be no little fear in the love. We're going to go for the whole tamale, the whole thing of love. I like to say there's no pissing section in the pool. You know what I mean? You can't bring any of that. There's no smoking section on the plane. There's no slice of fear that can come with this holiness. We get to clean up the whole thing. And we're obviously capable of it today because we're doing this lesson. It says, begin your search for the other world by asking for a strength beyond your own and recognizing what it is you seek. You do not want illusions, and you come to these 5 minutes emptying your hands of all the petty treasures of the world. Wait for God to help you as you say, it's impossible to see two worlds. Let me accept the strength God offers me and see no value in this world, that I may find my freedom and deliverance. So you may have heard me say it before, but you're going to hear me say it again because my ears need to hear what my mouth has to say. So I got to repeat it a lot because I never take my own advice. But the idea is I could be a woman of problem or a woman of power. And I really want to be a woman of power today. And the only way I can be a woman of power is I've let go of all of the grievances, because the grievances cause me to be quite weak. And this is the same for you as well. We don't want to have problems. They weaken our ability to be light in the world. And that's what we're here for. That's our purpose. Number 9, God will be there. When you ask, God will be there. For you have called upon the great unfailing power, which will take this giant step with you in gratitude, nor will you fail to see his thanks expressed in tangible perceptions and in truth. You will not doubt what you will look upon, for though it is perception, it is not the kind of seeing that your eyes alone have ever seen before, and you will know God's strength upheld you as you made this choice. I think this is a beautiful section of A Course in Miracles. It makes me want to begin singing like a priest or something. But it's just so beautiful. And you will know God's strength upheld you as you made this choice. I think about the choices that I made for my release from hell. Specifically, one that comes to mind, if any of you are friends of Bill. You know, that first moment that I finally got to that meeting and I identified one of my blocks, which was I was allergic to alcohol. And I remember how long it took me to get there, and that at the time I thought it was, going to be an albatross, that's something that would weigh me down. I thought it was going to be an anchor that was going to be a huge problem for me as I navigated life, that I would now have this dis-ease. But what I came to find was that it was a springboard for my spiritual awakening. It was one of the major springboards for my own personal spiritual awakening, and that I did hang out for the miracles. That program took me to Science of Mind, which helped me to have a more impersonal God, which led me eventually to Course in Miracles, which helped me to have a more personal God. So it's just interesting the journeys that we go on. But if we're willing, there is no misstep in God. And, I know that some of the classrooms that we get to spiritually feel like we've hit bottom, but, the good news is if we really have hit bottom, it's got only one direction to go, and that's up. Number 10, dismiss temptation easily today whenever it arises merely by remembering the limits of your choice. There's only 2, love or fear. The unreal or the real, the false or the true is what you see and only what you see. Perception is consistent with your choice, and hell or heaven come to you as one. Number 11, accept a little part of hell as real, and you have damned your eyes and cursed your sight, and what you will behold is hell indeed. Yet the release of heaven still remains within your range of choice, to take the place of everything that hell would show to you. All you need to say to any part of hell, whatever form it takes, is simply this: it's impossible to see two worlds. I seek my freedom and deliverance, and this is not a part of what I want. I want the peace of God. Deciding that you want the peace of God will cause every piece of your life to be transformed. And you will gain great intolerance for all of your sloppy, sideways, separate, stagnant, scarcity fears. And you will begin to have a more unfurrowed brow and a light-hearted step, a greater degree of patience, a greater degree of willingness, a greater degree of joy, a greater degree of faithfulness. You will reap benefits beyond what you even knew to ask for. And so there is a great benefit in practicing these lessons to the best of your ability. I'll practice for you, you practice for me. Namaste. My son's home. Hey, Liam.
Hey, Mom.
How's school?
I'm good. Good. How about you?
It's good.